Guys, I was so wrong about Mullen Automotive. Psych, no, I was right, man. The stock is at like 9 cents today. I've been telling people to get out of this stock for months, maybe even a year. And at this point, if you're still in the stock, bro, it is your fault. So in this video, I want to go over two big news articles that came out about a week ago. One was the fact that Mullen files to resell up to 2.1 billion shares of Mullen stock. I got that article right here. And then the other one was actually a really interesting article I came across. It was by Yahoo. And basically, it went over the type of shareholders that are currently invested in Mullen Automotive. I found that article very, very interesting. So I figured I'd share it with you. So make sure you like this video and subscribe to this channel. If you're losing like $500,000, make sure you like this video and subscribe to this channel because you could have avoided it if you just listened to this dang video. Okay, so shares of Mullen Automotive stock are in full focus after the electric vehicle company filed to resell up to 2.11 billion shares of common stock. These shares become issuable to the sellable stockholders upon the conversion of Series D preferred stock and the exercise of warrants. So one thing I wanted to mention here, first of all, the conversion rate Series D to common stock will be 1-to-1, and the warrants will have an exercise price of lower of $1.27, which was a closing price of Mullen Automotive stock on the day that the securities purchase agreement was enacted. Now, something I want to mention here. So they're saying that they're going to resell up to 2.11 billion shares. And if you go a little bit further down the article, which I'll get to, they currently have, according to their 8K, 3.79 billion shares. And they're allowed to sell 5 billion shares. So this has led to a lot of speculation that there will probably be a reverse split for Mullen Automotive. But I guess we'll find out as time goes on. So moving on. Several notable selling stockholders are mentioned in the filing, including Michael Walk's Iswa Holdings, Terran Pizer's Acuta Capital, and Timothy Davis Rice of Davis Rice Limited. So I think these are all a bunch of investors that David Mishry got. Walks is eligible to resell up to 784 million shares. Acuitas can resell up to 769 million shares. And Davis Rice can sell up to 384 million shares. Following the completion of the resale, Walks will own 300 million shares, Acuitas will own 7 million shares, and Davis Rice will own 34 million shares. Now, where exactly are these warrants and Series D preferred stock coming from? They stem from an existing SPA that will see Mullen receive $90 million in two equal tranches. Now remember, Mullen Automotive had a big press release about this like a few weeks ago. So one of the cash that they will receive, the equal tranches, will be today or yesterday, April 17th, and the other will be on May 15th. In exchange, Mullen will provide Iswa Holdings, Acuita Capital, David Rice Limited, and Out Lending with Series D preferred stock and warrants. So it's basically he's trying to raise more money. But this is also very, very interesting and a little concerning because the amount of money he's raising, and he's constantly diluting the stock. He can't do much with this money, unfortunately. If you want to produce cars and manufacture cars in bulk, it's a lot more than $90 million from what I'm seeing. If you look at any of the EV companies, they've spent close to billions of dollars. Billions, so 10 times more. And also there are a few articles about Mullen Automotive testing battery technology out. Testing and having a complete product are two very, very different things. So this is not nearly enough money that they have. The Form 8K also revealed that Mullen has entered into 3 promissory notes worth $20 million on April 3rd. The notes have an annual interest rate of 15% and will increase to 20% if the interest is not paid on time. This is not good debt, man. 15% and 20%, no bueno. That's why they say that startups in a high interest environment, it is very hard for them to grow. Very, very hard. Because they're already trying to grow and need a lot of cash. On top of that, when you add interest payments, it makes it very difficult. In addition, the notes will increase to 20% of interest. In addition, the notes enumerate events of default, which include but are not limited to failure to pay principal and interest, Breach of a covenant includes in the securities purchase agreement, bankruptcy, and delisting of the company's common stock. Ouch. So I guess potentially what it's saying is that if Mullen can't make their payments, they could get delisted. That's crazy. Principal and interest for notes will be due on April 17th, just 2 weeks after the notes were entered into. Interestingly enough, the due date of the note is the same day in which Mullen will receive $45 million from its SPA. This could imply that Mullen will use the proceeds from the SPA to pay off promissory notes. Guys, have you ever gotten to the point when you're so tight in money where as soon as you receive one payment, you immediately have to pay another bill? It kind of seems like Mullen Automotive is doing that right now, okay? So that's enough of that article. Let's talk about Yahoo Finance. So a look at the shareholders of Mullen Automotive can tell us which group is most powerful. The group holding the most number of shares in the company, around 44% to be precise, is actually individual investors like you guys. In other words, the group stands to gain the most or lose the most from their investment into the company. Meanwhile, individual insiders make 6.3% of the company's shareholders. Institutions will often hold stock in bigger companies like Tesla, and we expect to see insiders owning a noticeable percentage of the smaller ones. Okay. Now, a lot of people are bragging about how the hedge funds are buying into Mullen Automotive. It's honestly such a small percentage, it's meaningless for their portfolios. I need you guys to understand that. It's meaningless. Okay. So Mullen Automotive already has institutions on the share registry. Indeed, they own a respectable stake in the company. This suggests some credible amongst professional investors, but we can't rely on the fact alone since institutions make bad investments sometimes, just like everyone else. Think about that. When multiple institutions own a stock, there's always a risk that they are in a crowded trade. When such a trade goes wrong, multiple parties may compete to sell stock fast. So just as the stock goes up, it can go down just as fast. This risk is higher in a company without a history of growth. You can see Mullen Automotive's historic earnings and revenue below, but keep in mind there's always more to the story. A deeper look at our ownership data shows that the top 25 shareholders collectively hold less than half of the register, suggesting a large group of small holders where no single shareholder has a majority. While it also makes sense to study institutional ownership data for a company, it also makes sense to study analyst sentiments to know which way the wind is blowing. Our information suggests that there isn't any analyst coverage of the stock, so it probably is little known. Now, this is interesting. Insider ownership of Mullen Automotive. While the precise definition of an insider can be subjective, almost everyone considers board members to be insiders. The company's management answer to the board, and the latter should represent the interests of shareholders. Notably, sometimes top-level managers are on the board themselves. Most consider insider ownership a positive because it can indicate the board is well aligned with other shareholders. However, on some occasion, too much power is concentrated within the group. Our most recent data indicates that insiders own some shares in Mullen Automotive. It has a market capitalization of just $380 million. Guys, this is so not healthy for an EV company. And insiders have $24 million worth of shares in their owner's name. Some would say this shows alignment of interest between shareholders and the board, but it might be worth checking if those insiders have been selling. And that's just the article saying it nicely. The insiders have been selling the stock. So guys, let me know what you guys think about this big news on Mullen Automotive. I am not sure if you should still be holding on to the stock. I actually recommend to sell it. It's not a good stock. It's a scam. They're very low on cash reserves. They're raising money to just pay off other bills. How long can they tread this way? See you guys in the next video. Peace.